Alright, what we're looking at here is evacuation using the micron gauge. You can see I already did a couple of sweeps. I did 2 sweeps already. We're going to do a 3rd sweep. And as you can see, I went all the way up to 0 psi, turned on the vacuum, came back down, and you can see how it's sweeping. It's pretty smooth. Now what this is on, original hoses, original compressor, original condenser, original evaporator, original expansion valve, and even the original receiver dryer. Yes, the receiver dryer did not get replaced in this 1970 Mercedes-Benz. So I got another one of these. And as you know, I've released a couple of videos on these vehicles. And this is another prime example. This is the one that I did the leak check on, and they pulled off the whole front end. It's time to fill it back up. And for you guys who really love Mercedes, I'll let you see the tags. This is what it is. If it will focus. Come on, there you go. Get you guys some nice clear pictures. What year is that? My eyes can't see. 1970. This is another 1970. And this is the one that 63,000 miles. And good old-fashioned analog thermocouple, which controls the temperature by nothing more than contacts on a thermal bulb. Basically, it's a little wire filled with gas, and as the gas expands from being heated or contracted by the cold temperature of the, I believe it's connected to the pipe. Some of them are stuck in right into the fin coils. I don't know if this thermocouple, which is a gas-filled copper tube, I don't know if it's stuck into the fins or if it's attached to the suction line going back to the compressor. As you can see, this is a beautiful car. A very beautiful car, as you remember. Look at that. The whole front end area of this was taken off because they did the water pump, and a front shaft seal, oil seal, was leaking on the front of the crank. So they did that, and at the same time they took the compressor off. I sealed up one of the leaks, so that was at one of the ports, by putting a cap back on there. These were missing. He scrounged up 2 old ones that'll go back on here. They have the rubber seals inside. So you can see I'm down to 255 microns right now. Everything's original. As I stated, we're about to give it a nitrogen shot one more time, one more sweep. Let's come back and look at this. You can see how smooth it is. You see the smoothness? It doesn't have the jagged little pop-up in it, because this is one thing. Did they have a retrofit fitting on this? I can't remember if they had a retrofit. No, they didn't have a retrofit fitting on this. And you can see this is nice and smooth. And will I use R12? Maybe I'll use R12. It's very smooth, but let's go put some nitrogen in and see how fast we could bring this vacuum down. So you see it was at 248. So I think I have this on. Yes, I do. So we're just looking for it to come up to 0. Now, as you can see, I only have one hose hooked up. The other hose is not even hooked up. Let's close the vacuum. And we're just looking for 0. So everything is going in and out of the low side, because that's all we don't have access to the other fittings. They're just impossible to get to. So we see we closed it. We can see the moisture content in the system. Remember, this is the original desiccant inside this receiver dryer, and it's saturated. So there's nothing we can do about that. We have hoses from 1970 and our original system that had R12 in it. And this is actually a pretty wet one, because I've had other ones that were this old that as soon as I turned off the vacuum, they would rise to about 500 or 700. This one's actually pretty high. Now you see it's leveling off right now, because it takes a while, because I'm only pulling from the low side only. I'm gonna go get some fittings so I could cut this tube on right here. Just like somebody added in here, they cut the tube, they added a service port. I'm gonna cut the hose, and I'm gonna add a high side service port. But you can see it's steadying out right there. It's getting close. So that's its moisture content. It's at 1500 microns. Let's come back and take a look at this. The vacuum decay, you see how it's starting to go flat. There's a more visual representation. We got down to 247 microns, and we're at 1524 right now. That's about its plateau. So we still have a ways to come down. So I'll do one more sweep with the nitrogen. Closed, open, closed. We're just going to 0, open, closed, open, closed. Getting close, about there. Good enough for government, 1.4 psi. So now we can open up the vacuum. And you'll see the oil, the steam come out of here. Well, it's not steam, it's oil mist. See that coming out of there? That is the volume of nitrogen being pulled and ripped out of the high flow at a high velocity, coming out of the system through the hose, and then it's taking up, as it goes around the rotor of this rotary vane compressor, it's ripping off a little bit of the oil that seals the cylinders like a rotary vane compressor, and it's getting mixed with the nitrogen and it's coming out as an oil mist. And that's what you're seeing right there. And we can see it's taking a dive. How long does that take? Let's go take a look at from positive pressure to negative. Oh, there it goes right there. So you could see at the 16-minute mark was where I opened up the pressure, and it completely skyrocketed right off the scale, because it went to positive 1.4 psi. Then if you come from the 16 mark, here we are. We're not even at the 17 mark. We're like at 45 seconds. It's up here at, you see the 8,000 mark right there. That's the 8,000 mark. At roughly 45 seconds, it dipped down to the 8-second mark, and it came straight down right below the 2,000 micron mark. And now it's slowly coming over. And where are we at right now? So from this point right there, oh, let's get right, I want to get right there we go. That's our dead off point at 1900 microns, 1910 microns. It just started bending over where it was going to start to flatten out, you know, start to level off, slow down. It got out of that nice laminar flow, and it's going to start getting down to the micron level down here. Now within 60 seconds, where are we at? We're at 549 microns from this point just below 17 to this point just below 18, 549 microns. And we'll just let it go from there. Now I'm gonna go have lunch and leave this on the vacuum pump. See you guys later.